I'd like to have everyone's attention. We will call this special board meeting to session. Tonight's meeting is the first portion of our Houston County budget for the year. We'll have a second meeting on Monday night, the 8th, for our required 2 public meeting sessions by law. Anyone that is in attendance, feel free to get a packet back on the table. It's got the entire budget. Pretty much the exact same thing we're looking at. Ours is just in a binder. And there's also a spot in there where if you have questions or anything that you want to submit, you can fill that out and submit those as well. We welcome everybody here tonight. We've got a few new faces in the crowd. I welcome Mr. Shoup, our Houston County Commissioner, and everyone else is. This is usually not a big turnout, so we're busting the seams with what we got. 7, so we're doing good. But again, we do appreciate you being here. It will probably take about an hour. Take that long? 20 minutes. 30 minutes. You don't have any money, it don't take long to talk about it.
Yes, I have any questions.
Okay. All right. So tonight's meeting will be a little more in depth than the Monday night meeting. We kind of did a condensed version on Monday night. But again, we welcome everybody here. And we do call this meeting to order, and we do have a quorum present. Lester is make it tonight, but he'll be here. At this time, everybody please stand. We'll have our prayer by Mr. Kelly, followed by our pledge by Mr. Long.
Let's pray. Father, we thank you for your grace, your mercy, and we praise you for all you do, for all the blessings that we have. We ask for blessings and continued blessings of our schools, our staff, the safety of our schools, our staff, students. And we'll always give you the praise and glory and honor for that. Just be with us now as we go through this meeting tonight. Give us wisdom and discernment to make proper decisions, correct decisions, and decisions that students have asked for.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Item 4 is to approve the agenda. Motion to approve. Motion on Mr. Kelly, second on Mr. Long. Any discussion? All in favor, vote yea.
Yea.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Item 5, fiscal year 2025-2026 public budget hearing. Mr. Bedsole.
So I'm going to say, we talked about that just a few minutes ago, that it wouldn't make a difference whether I was sitting or standing. Say hi.
Don't take that out of context. I didn't say that.
All right, so we'll get started. So as Mr. Wade said earlier, we do have 2 required hearings, one tonight, one Monday night. This is to provide transparency and public input. So this is just, I know y'all are thinking I can't count, but these are the slide numbers. So we're going to go over the beginning balance, revenue sources, expenditures, expenditure changes, some student enrollment, trends, debt service, personal expenditures. Mr. Curran is going to go over our 5-year capital plan. So our beginning balance and revenue sources. We're going to begin with a budgeted beginning balance of $55 million, and our general fund estimated beginning balance is right at $27 million. Revenue sources are budgeted at $93 million, and our foundation program makes up $62.3 million of that, and that includes our required match. So our property tax that goes into that to make up the match is also a part of that $62 million. Our local revenue is budgeted at $9.9 million, federal revenue $10.9 million, and our state capital outlay outlay revenue, which also includes the matches required for that, at 2.3 million. So our beginning balance plus revenue will start with 148.3 million. I know that sounds like a lot, but it does take a lot to run our school system. So our revenue sources. State revenue, it includes our 10 meals required match, which is almost $7.5 million. It includes sources like the new RAISE Act, school nurses, state career tech, state preschool, transportation, and it is an increase of almost 3% over last year's budget. Local revenue does not include the 10 meals because it's over in state now. Even though it's kind of considered local revenue, we have to take that entire 10 meals and move it over to state to become that required match. It does include sales tax, other property tax, and interest. Those are just a few examples. And it is a 1.64 increase over last year's budget. Federal revenue. Our federal revenue sources include IDEA for special education, Title I, Title II. Title I money helps our schools do some extra things, some supplemental things that they wouldn't be able to do otherwise. Title II helps with professional development for our teachers. Title III is for our EL students, our English learners. Title IV is safe and drug-free, that helps with security in our schools. And then the child nutrition program is also under federal revenue. The federal revenue sources decreased by almost 9% compared to last year's budget. That is a big, big deal.
And that doesn't have anything to do with COVID funding, that's just our general federal funding.
Just federal funding decrease.
Right. So 9% decrease.
And that's going to hurt. I will say, our Title I schools are going to feel that.
Mr. White, you understand what we we're probably expecting more federal cuts, correct? Before trying to get Chris on this issue earlier.
Possibly. We're trying to prepare for that. One of the issues that we're dealing with, and we've talked about this a lot, is IDEAs and that. That's your funding for special needs students. Last year, we spent over $2 million out of general fund. Didn't get funded for IDEA. We didn't get any special ed funding for that. We're expecting that to increase while the funding decreases.
That $2 million come out of the local funding of $9 million. From our local funding, it's at $9 million, then we're down to 7.
So you're looking at 20 to 25% of the money we have that is somewhat flexible, all went to special ed.
We're required.
Have we ever get any funding?
We get the IDEA funding, and we get a few grants, but that was included in that. So if you have some high needs, you can apply for some grants, but most of those grants are $50,000. Some of them.
That's what I'm about to share.
It's not.
In the grand scheme of things, they're just kind of.
It helps, but it all in. The RAISE Act is supposed to help with that. It helped a little bit this year. The RAISE Act helped. Losing the IDEA funding hurt. For the RAISE Act, we're seeing it was a little easier to budget. But we're kind of in unknown, so that's why we're trying to prepare.
I will say that it didn't allow for additional funding for the extra things that we have to do. So like the services that we provide, OT, PT, behavior analyst, all of those extra services, I still have to budget those out of local funds. So the RAISE Act really helped with the personnel, salaries and benefits, which is what IDEA covers.
And the growth of those services needs, I'm probably wording this wrong, is growing every year like it is.
And our, back to your local funds, you said the 1.6% increase. Actually, sales tax. That's really all that's there.
That's
So we've got 1.6% increase in
Oh.
sales tax.
a 1.6% increase of 7 and a 9% decrease of 17. Is that correct? Federal,
Yes.
about 17 million.
Yes.
So the larger sum got a huge cut, and the smaller sum got a very small increase.
Now, keep in mind that local revenue sources are, they can fluctuate, but that is something that I look at the trend. And I'm very conservative with how I budget local revenue. Federal revenue sources and state revenue sources, we get that information from the state. We know what those numbers are. Local revenue sources, I'm making my best guess on what those numbers will be.
State kept us afloat this year. What, 8, 78?
Now, part of that 2.8% increase has to do with increasing benefits. Insurance and retirement does increase.
And we're expecting a huge, we heard it at a conference or somewhere, next year with PIVA coming in, they're coming back next
They
year.
are.
Selection.
Yes, sir.
Election years.
The last one that's kind of in the corner is our public school fund for capital outlay. There was a slight decrease in that as well, 1.75%. And we do have to put in local revenue for that. I actually pulled that from sales tax because the entire 10 mills of property tax that we receive goes to the foundation program. So there's $277,000 that is budgeted from sales tax for the capital outlay match, and 100% of those funds are used.
Add to the 10 mills, not to mention that all the 10 mil goes to the foundation, we have to kick in extra. Are we still behind? We're having to kick in more because the taxes are in arrears?
It just depends, because
Depends on the,
when properties are assessed, when we have new property, it depends on how.
So
that
this
Have a
year-
big
works out.
jump in assessments or new properties, we're a little behind,
this year we're going to be pretty even on that.
more so than the last few years.
Past few years, this was a big.
What's interesting though, Mr. White and I have looked at this every year, so the state tells us to put in 10 mills of property tax. But when I submit the financial, I send them all of our local revenue. They request a statement of every dollar of local revenue that they receive. And so they take that information and determine our 10 mills based off of it. But it looks like they're only looking at the 3.5 mills we receive, and they do a calculation based off of it. So it's really hard to determine what your 10 mills are going to be every year because of how the state actually calculates it. It's odd. That was probably more information you wanted to know. All right, so revenue year-to-year comparison. This is actually 2022 to 2026, so 5 years, and I'm going to break this down a little bit in the next few slides. But it's just kind of showing you the trend over a 5-year span of what our different revenue categories are doing. And the foundation match and the capital outlay match are also on there. So to answer your question of kind of where that was going, the foundation match is, Dr. Kennedy's not here to see, but that's this line right here. So you see how it kind of flattens out after it goes up in 2024, and then the capital outlay match, it dips down. So I really don't know how they do that. The capital outlay match is not, it's not in correlation to the foundation match. So foundation, we started at 41.36 million in 2022. I know those numbers are small, so I'm gonna kind of call them out to you. So the blue line, you can see, went from 41.36 million to 2026, 54.84 million. So just kind of showing you where the revenue has gone in 5 years.
And most of that is on salaries when they
And our local revenue, 6.11 million to 9.9 million. And the foundation match that I just mentioned, 2022, it was 5.9 million. And now they're requiring 7.46. Federal revenue, you can see that in 2022, we were at 24.85 million. Of course, we had a lot of, the ESSER money in there. And then now we're at 10.9. Capital outlay, you can see that that's pretty flat. In 2022, 1.7 million, and then 2026, we're right at 2 million. Our fleet renewal, same thing. They haven't changed that number they haven't moved that number very much, per bus in years. So you can see that hasn't changed much. Fleet renewal, this money is used to pay back our debt on our buses. So we have a tremendous amount of bus debt, but we get $636,000 to pay that back. It doesn't even out.
So that went down, 656 to 636.
Bus
About a
cost went
$20,000
from
increase.
90,000 to 150.
And so keep in mind that anywhere, if we're not able to fund out of capital outlay our debt payments, or fund out of fleet renewal the debt payments, they come out of that 9 million local. And then the capital outlay match, you see that it was 267 in 22, and now it's 277,000 in 26. And it did a peak in 2023, and now it's back down in 26. So budgeted expenditures, this is expenditures by category, the major categories. We're not breaking it down into special ed or different departments. This is just major categories. So you can see instructional services, instructional support services are the largest of those, of the pie chart. So 58.9% or 59 cents of every dollar is budgeted for instruction or instructional support. That's where all of our budget goes, either to instruct the students or support the instruction of the students. Capital outlay, this section is our current construction budgeted from the 2023 bond issue proceeds, or transfers to debt service to pay the principal and interest from our capital outlay fund. So that's that purple kind of color, the bigger, the next biggest place. And general administrative, State Department suggests that we have 3 to 5% budgeted in that category, and the budget this year is at 3%.
Capital outlay is only that large because of the bonds. Normally, it's a very small percentage due to the bonds that we take. But
Term did we get on our bonds? I know not asking rate, I'm asking years, because interest rates look like they're fixing to drop. Bonds usually come up.
So we'll go over that.
I got you. Sorry.
We got a debt service slide. So this is a comparison to state percentages. If you'll notice the darker green column here, this first column, is the FY 2024 state expenditures. That's the fiscal year that is completed. So those are the numbers that we can compare to. Combined instruction and instructional support for the state was 58.74%. Administrative services were 4.36%. So that's this column and this column together, and then administrative services are right here. Now the next set of columns, the kind of green in the middle of all of those, that's our FY 24 expenditures, where we ended the year. So our combined instruction and instructional support was 59.85%. Operations and maintenance, I wanted to point out, that is the third set of columns from the left. Ours was 7.71%. And I'm pointing that out because it's higher than our budgeted 2026. So I'm just showing that. Administrative services, we ended the year at 3%. So I'm pointing that out to show, yes, our budget is 3.6, but as you can see, we actually don't hit that mark. And then capital outlay, you can see that those columns are kind of high, 11.66. Then the final section, the third column in the set, is our budgeted expenditure. I'm showing you the FY 24 state, FY 24 Houston County, and then FY 26 budget. So combined instruction and instructional support kind of goes in line with the other two, around 58.95%. Operations and maintenance, we ended 2024 with 7.7. I have budgeted 5.18. Administrative services, we ended 2024 with 2.97. I have budgeted 3.6. In capital outlay, I have budgeted 16.8, due to what we just talked about, the budgeted amounts for the construction kind of progress.
Operations and maintenance, we would expect that to continue to go down because a lot of that has just been projects we've been doing. Finishing up a few of those, all the roofs, HVACs, everything that they've replaced. But the actual number of work orders is down tremendously. So that should help.
I didn't put this, I didn't outline it over here, but if you look at that last set of columns, debt service, you can see that it's pretty straight across, which means that we're pretty much in line with the state average as far as our debt service. So reasons for expenditures increases and decreases. Like I said earlier, retirement did increase. We have tier 1 and tier 2 employees. So if an employee was hired after January 1st, 2013, they're considered a tier 2 employee. And both of those are increasing by at least 1%, around 1%. So that goes into that increase with the foundation program. And our PEO, our medical insurance for our employees, that is increasing by $104 per employee per month. So it's going from $800 to $904. That's a big jump. And then utilities, I actually had an overall decrease in utilities. And like I was explaining to Mr. White before when we reviewed this tonight, when I budget utilities, I'm looking at the trend. What have utilities done? Are we spending what we budgeted? That kind of thing. And I didn't see a need to budget a huge amount in utilities compared to the year before. So it ended up being $175,000 less than.
What did we spend last year on utilities?
I don't have that number. I need to keep that number. I have that in my head. I mean, I can throw something out there and make it sound good, but I think it's better to tell you that I don't have it in my head.
In the reason I ask that, because that money comes directly. And what I don't, the perception of our budget is huge.
It's
148
typically
million.
around $2 million.
Right, so now, at 7 million, it's down to 5. So my point I keep trying to, just so the general public knows, when they hear $148 million budget, we got about 5 million that we actually have any control over what we can do with our capital. By the time the 2 million for special ed comes out, 2 million for utilities comes out,
Was it, we're 82% on salaries? 82%
That's all that,
right there, just salaries.
so,
salary.
yeah, again, that's, the reason I asked that question is just to show where we truly are when it comes to funding. Yes, it's a big budget, but in the big scheme of things, we're running 12 school systems. 825 employees with $5 million that we're able to just spend capital outlay expenditures and things like that in a very aging school system.
The utilities thing, I'm gonna be totally off here, but that's telling me that somebody's doing a good job with the utilities, with the facilities we got. With LED done.
You made a good point.
Yes.
Yeah, that's,
But I question this, and Dom may be able to answer. Listen, I get a lot of the things with the new HVAC, the LED, all that, and I expected that to save a little bit. But I expected it to almost be flat because of the new facilities that we've added in that amount. So how did that go down $175,000?
First off, our new facilities are built even more energy efficient than ever before. That's why they cost so much. But why it's decreased is we put the burden on the administrators to police their utilities, where they were paying for that out of their allocation. So if they had a savings, well, that just rolled over and they could use it. So I haven't been able to drive around the school system like a madman in the middle of the night shutting off air conditioners because I don't have to.
Well, it
Because
just,
when I drove up on the campus,
is that not a bigger decrease than what you expected?
it's bigger than I thought it would be, yes. But it's
Especially with the
amazing.
additional buildings, I
Yes,
think about that.
that was my thing, is with the new facilities, I was expecting to almost flatline, not go up.
We
because
changed out 127,000, 127 tons of coolant this year. So versus these older units that we're replacing, well, it's a given, they're all energy efficient.
Oh, yeah.
But we moved,
I guess that's got to be the big, well, it's huge.
Yeah.
I mean, I use my own home for experience. I went from 14 SEER unit to 22 SEER unit. My power bill dropped $100 a month.
in commercial units, they don't really give you a SEER rating, but they're gonna be more energy efficient than the last ones. So right there, that's a big saving, especially when you have, I'm gonna just shoot it out and we keep adding air conditioners. We have about 3,200 individual operating air conditioning systems right now. That's how many we have running at this moment.
So how much did we spend on utilities last year?
As the board will tell you, and everybody in this room, when it comes to money,
You're throwing
I'm not the guy
numbers out.
that-
I'm thinking you could throw that number out.
I will say our air conditioning in our gym is phenomenal compared to what it was, to the point that they begged me to bump it up a couple of degrees and stop cooling. It's so efficient. So that,
and we also upped that to gas heat, so you're gonna see that on the end. I know we're increasing what we spend on natural gas, but we have to remember every year they pay us back. It's still 30 cents on the dollar.
I don't know if it's that much, what we get, about 15?
Yeah.
It's between 13 and 15.
I don't think it's that much, I don't think it's 30 cents on the dollar, but we got about, check, about 15 grand this year.
And it's paid back, plus these bigger units are more efficient when you operate them, right? Especially on heat, on natural gas. You know, everything we've had has been heat pumps over the years. But when you're talking about 50-ton units, heat pump is just not what you need. You put gas reheat into a unit like that, you have an efficient unit. You figure we'll spend $12,000 a month at Rover, just is heating the gym, just in gas. And that's, some things that people don't think about, how much money we spend in gas alone.
And just because you're seeing a $775,000 doesn't mean that utilities don't cost a lot of money.
Oh, yeah.
Well, all I can think of is the
They are still.
My point was, I was just shocked that it went down that much with
Yeah.
that facility.
The added facilities in our old facility, we have in there, that's good steward.
So the last one, the last circle there is just saying that we did add some additional employees. I estimated about 11, so that did increase our expenditure.
And most of those were not teachers, those were professionals. And of that 11 that you're saying we added as employees, those came off of personnel resources, most of them.
Exactly.
So it's technically not new people. We were just paying for them in personnel resources and allocating. And the amounts were almost identical. So in reality, we probably added 3. Is that correct? It wasn't there 8 that we just swapped over? So we should have added.
I put that number on there based on the number from last year in our report and the number this year. Just to let you know where that went.
Well, I just want to know that it wasn't just a true 11, it was switching the way we were.
And I don't have this up here, on any slide, but our local units, our
Yeah, you
local units are down to 5.73 for FY 26. That's the lowest we've had, I think, since,
Wow.
remember what year?
It was
that?
Mr. Pittsburgh.
During Mr. Pittsburgh's, I don't know, you call it reign? Tenure as superintendent.
But one of the reasons we've had to have a lot is growth, and it has plateaued at the right time. So we lost ESSER funds, and student ADM has plateaued, which allowed us to get back to somewhat normal. But if we were to get a growth spurt again, then you got a choice of local units or oversized classes.
That's what we're about to look at student enrollment. If you, what I just said, if you look at 23, 24, and 25, you kind of see it leveling out. But this is a 10-year, showing of what the enrollment has done. You see it shoot up right there at 2023. And that growth, that 6.5% growth over a 10-year period, with an addition of 404 students, but it also allowed us to gain 43.59 earned. So I'm showing you this to say the more students, the more earned units from the state, but also that's in arrears. So what Mr. White was just explaining is that the students come at one point in the year, but we don't get the funding until the following year. And if you'll notice that these numbers I put captured in October of each year. So they're captured in October, we'll do it next month, the state will capture that next month, but that is for fiscal year 2027 funding.
We don't know where they were. Nobody knew where they were. It happened statewide. It happened nationwide.
That wouldn't be virtual, that would just be
They were not,
we're enrolled.
we don't know where they were.
But again, some of
Like,
those-
nobody was keeping track, not even in Colorado.
Some of those increases, it's managed that would be a year and a half in arrears. Pretty good. Somebody's doing pretty good work.
And we were very fortunate to have ESSER funds
Yes.
to be able to do that at that time. So that helped us tremendously make it through, because if we'd not had that and we'd had that much growth, we'd be hurt.
And I will say we've heard stories of other schools. Like we planned, and they didn't come out on top.
And I'm gonna tell you what now, program has helped us with those units as well, because the high school students, it's a program. So with the number of students they have, if you had that number of students in a regular school, you would have a lot more teachers than what they have. So that helped us be able to put some of those local units out of school where.
My current enrollment's 233 kids. I got 83 seniors.
Wow.
That's 233.
Columbia's got 307, 312.
Come out and see.
Oh, just in seniors?
83
Yeah.
seniors.
Of course, the classification doesn't count. 9 through 11.
I went to a one, I went to
Yeah.
21, it was 22.
Yeah, but you're right, the number of seniors would be equivalent to a 304, you're correct. I didn't know.
Alright, so debt service. This is kind of what you were,
Yes,
you remember who was asking about it earlier, but, I know that there's some here that you can't really see, but that's because in 2026, we will end those debt payments. So that is the Q's out of file payment in 26, and we have one of our bus fleet, financing that we'll make the last payment in 2026 on it as well. In 2027, we'll make the final payment on the qualified school construction bond. I guess it was a state bond that we entered into. But that'll be done in 27, and that's why you can barely see those over here. And then 2041 and 42, those are the last two on the end. That's when our bond issues will be paid off in 2020 and 2023. So I think, is that you that was asking
Well,
about
I was just
number of
asking,
years?
were we locked in? I mean, do we have a term?
There's a certain time, somewhere in the bond issue cycle
Yes, ma'am.
where we can refund, but it's only when it's advantageous for us to do that. I'm not sure exactly when that is, but it would take, like Joe Jolly that did the bond issues for us to analyze that for us and tell us when that time happens. But then it also, funds maturing, that has to fall into place just right to, and that's not my world, so I don't know all the details there, that's why they've been talking about time. Anyway, so you can see that our 2016 bond issue has a little bit more time. FY 28 is when it will be paid off. You can see I have the years there in parentheses, and each one of those will be paid off. The 2024 bus fleet is 2030, 2017 bond issue 31, 2025 bus fleet is 32, and then 41 and 42. 41 and 42. I just said those years, are y'all like, I'm doing that. I'm not even sure I'll be in this position at 41 and 42.
All my kids watch them graduate.
So our total debt service payments for fiscal year 2026 is $4.69 million. That's principal plus interest. And then we've invested our bond issue proceeds and received interest on those investments. And I just wanted to point out that since February of 2021, we've received $2.6 million on those investments. So that's tremendous. Per pupil expenditures. So this is a lot of information on one page. Don't get overwhelmed. I'm gonna read it all to you. You ready?
Sure.
I'm kidding.
Hey, I do want to mention here, I asked Ms. Bessel to put like the feeder schools together, especially the ones that share a campus. Because that's a little hard to determine, like when you see Ashford High and Ashford Middle, and we see that 12 and that 9, I kind of look at that and average it a little bit. I'm sure the high school's a little bit higher because of some of their expenses, but it's probably not that much. But with them sharing utilities, sharing a lot of that, it's hard to separate per kid. So that's why I asked her to put the ones that share a campus together like that, so that you can look at it and it's almost impossible to get that exact number. Now, Webb and Houston County and being separate, that's pretty accurate.
What's the state average, 75 or 85? 95.
We're around that. Foundation program.
A minute more. But
It's
you
in
can
our
see-
handout.
See what?
Yeah, it's in the handout.
It's not.
We can send them a copy of this.
This particular slide.
Just
Makes a big difference, the larger the school,
It
per
does.
student cost goes down.
Yes, you can see that the ADM
And
for Hovind High School, then when you even average them together, you're at 9,400.
what happens there is you're able to even out classes the larger the school. You have some of the smaller schools where you might have a class that you have to offer. You might only have 10 kids take it, but it's a class you have to offer. Somewhere like Rehoboth, you're not going to have that. But at the same time, take Webb, for instance, there was times where we had some classes that were just overloaded. You don't end up having that at Rehoboth either, because when you add a teacher or take one away, you only change it by 2 classes. And you add or take away at Webb where you only got 3 classes or 2 to 4, it may change it by 8 kids. So it's hard to.
You gotta everything we've been talking about, you gotta do it, you gotta air conditioning, you gotta, doesn't matter how big the school is, how many kids there, you still gotta.
So overall, for every student that we have, we spend $1,248 on each one. Or budget that much for each one. Really, that's somewhat inaccurate because we have students that need than others.
Is that like Ashford Elementary? We have a pretty high population of students with special needs there. We have more classes. So that might tell us a little bit about why it's as high as it is compared to Rehoboth.
That's the cost that concerns me. We're not talking about it. We'll get out of hand.
And that might be why Ashford High School is as high as it is too, because those schools are big enough that when you walk in, you don't see very small classes. I broke it down, I think that's part of what we would say.
Like if you took that off the top of the budget, the IDA, is that what you were calling it? If you took the IDA just out to try to separate the, you think you'd see a major difference?
Oh, you see it. And then our problem is those IDA doesn't cover it, so you.
Right, and you're still required to cover it.
Whether they fund it or not, you gotta figure out.
Oh,
Good
that-
job. You're up, sir. I think you're
She
clear.
could have told us on that slide that was the last one, huh?
Yeah, well, no, there's what, 2 more? They don't allow me to do slides anymore.
I thought you were studying.
That's just the answer.
Oh, I studied it. I go to bed with it. One thing I can say, one thing about our new 5-year capital plan, which it's a fluid plan. It changes, it's not really set in stone. But the board is required to approve it, every year, that it adjusts. Our capital plan is down to 15 items. I know it seems like it's a little anemic, but you gotta remember, over the last 5.5 years ago, we were over 38, 40 items. And we have just chipped away and have moved that down to 15 items. And some of the items that are on the capital plan, we're already in the process of purchasing materials for. So actually, that'll come to, right, waiting on bids and things of that nature, but they're still on our plan. So, yeah, go forward. Yeah, there you go. Okay, these are actually on our plan, and the board should have a copy of this,
I sent
of
you
our
a
capital
copy.
plan. You should have a copy of it.
I don't see it in front of us.
If not, I can send you one. That's not a problem. And I'm gonna put on my glasses because I can't see on my little phone right here. But you'll see things as far as the Cottonwood High School new gymnasium. Now, that'll be a bond issue. When it comes to the financial end of it, that's Ms. Bedsall. She tells me where the money comes from, and that's what we put in. And some things you'll see, it's an unknown funding source because it's so far down the road, we don't know where we're gonna be when we actually do fund it. But right now, on the materials, I'm in the process of purchasing all the materials for the Rehoboth Elementary gym. We're gonna enclose the windows down the side of it, which, well, bring the efficiency of that building way up, trust me. And see, and then we get rid of your black curtains. Right. But you'll see, I'm in the process of checking into Webb Elementary on that'll actually be a bid issue right there. We'll have to bid that out. The middle school, the new middle school building and a lunchroom building, we have set that way off to 2029 because that'll be a very, very huge undertaking right there. I think we've basically set it at $50 million right now, where we're at with that.
And when that has to happen, will be determined by the growth. So we don't know the funding source. We don't really know the year. We just put that on there, assuming that is a possibility that we have these subdivisions built up. And we have it on.
And if something should arise to where, we have, say, Webb Elementary new roofs in 2028. Well, if that roof starts failing, we can always move that up. Like I said, the document can change and we can actually add things onto it. But what happens is the state looks at this. That's how they're supposed to set how much money they're going to issue for bonds and things of that nature. I haven't seen that happen yet, but we do turn it in. Yeah, this new plan. But the board has already approved some of these projects, like Rehoboth baseball field lights. We've already had purchased the lighting, and that'll be 13 to 14 weeks before we even see that material. Ashford High School library windows, I've already ordered all the materials for that. HCCA, I'm in the process now. That's going to probably be a bid issue because it'll be over the bid threshold. That's right, and that's something that's going to have to be done this summer because it'll render this parking lot unusable. But I've had a few experts come out, look at it, and give me some ideas what we need to do out here. Some of it we can reseal, some of it we're gonna have to overlay. So we're working on that right now. And Cottonwood Elementary classroom windows, I just ordered those. They have the standard old windows that are leaking. They go from floor to ceiling. We're gonna remove all those and we're gonna non-opening, low E, smaller windows in each opening, and then we'll vinyl them out, and then we'll finish the inside. It'll actually help improve the look of the building. And these are, like I said, these are where it says various projects. These are basically projects that we're already spending the money on right now to buy the materials. They will be done more or less by the maintenance department. But it is way down. It's 15 items, which is, I used to look at it and go, whoa, because there was a lot on there. But now we look at it, the things that are on there are, I think they're not wishes. They're gonna be needs that we're gonna have in the future, definitely. And that's the way me and Mr. White look at it. Let's just put down things that we know we're gonna need. So, and we
Take Wicksburg, for instance, know what it was like at Rehoboth years ago, but they're looking at almost 1,200 kids go through that lunchroom. So you're having to start at 10:30 and go to 1.
all our lunchrooms, except for Rehoboth High School and Rehoboth, now it's elementary, were designed to feed 500 children max. Some of them were even less than that. So we're feeding, these lunchrooms are, they're overtaxed. The utilities coming in are just maxed out. I mean, it's not like we can just, add things to them anymore. Well, there's no room. And I think we did a tour and you could see how tight a lot of those kitchens are. It amazes me sometimes how they can even cook in those kitchens. But they make it happen. But Wicksburg is going to be,
Probably the highest.
yeah. We can seat more people. And we
That
got
was
the
a game
stage
changer.
there now. That was something that's going to have to come out.
Coming from Wicksburg, and I'm sorry, I'm gonna.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Coming, cause I was at Wicksburg prior to Rehoboth. It's night and day. You're having brunch, basically at Wicksburg. And then early supper, you wanna call it, and then where I am now, I mean, we're spoiled. I have A grade in our lunchroom. And that, the peace, the ability to clean.
Ability to
being able
schedule
to
classes.
Yes, it has just been phenomenal.
I'm pretty sure our food changes stay from breakfast in there.
They never move.
They pretty much.
It's 10 o'clock. Somebody's eating lunch.
They go to the
Because
bathroom.
they're running over me in that line.
I mean,
That is
it's
the
tough.
way it used to be around. They just finished breakfast, some of them, and then they were sitting
And
back in
I
there
think
getting lunch.
the primary is probably a lot like that. They have there's just a lot of mind grade levels, which increases the noise, you can't maintain, I mean, it's just.
We're probably looking at Wicksburg removing the stage like we did at Rehoboth. And that, you can seat maybe 75 to 80 extra kids in that area. Because now that we don't need the stage, we got this nice brand new stage. So that'll open up the lunchroom a little bit. And that'll be kind of a quick fix, for the moment. But, when numbers increase, you got to feed them. It's a non-ending deal
And then
through there.
Cottonwood has shown a lot of growth. So
Big
it's
time.
not in